There's something happening in barns and stables all across America every single day. Something so routine, so ordinary, that almost nobody stops to question it. People walk in, pick up a brush, and get to work. They move through the motions they've always moved through. They finish, put the tools away, and move on to whatever comes next. And they have no idea, not even a suspicion, that what just happened wasn't bonding. It was the slow, invisible erosion of trust. This is the story of the most common grooming mistake with horses, and it's not about the wrong brush. It's not about technique. It's about something that happens before you ever touch the horse. Something that most people have never been taught to see. Stay with me. Because by the end of this, you're going to look at every grooming session you've ever had in a completely different light. And I'm going to share 5 specific habits that push horses away. Habits that most people repeat every single day without realizing the damage they're doing. That part alone could change everything for you and your horse. Let's start at the beginning. Most people think of grooming as maintenance. You brush the horse, clean the hooves, check for anything unusual, and move on. It's a task. Something you do before the real thing. Before the ride, before the training session, before whatever you actually came to do. And that right there is the first problem. Because to a horse, grooming is not maintenance. It is not a warm-up. It is not a box to check. In the natural world of horses, grooming is one of the most socially significant things that happens between two individuals. Horses in the wild stand side by side and use their teeth and lips to work along each other's necks, manes, and backs. It releases oxytocin, the same bonding hormone that humans release during physical affection. It lowers heart rate. It builds trust. It communicates, in the clearest possible way, that you are safe, that you belong, and that you matter. So when you walk up to your horse with a brush in one hand and a to-do list in your head, you're missing the entire point. You're treating one of the most powerful bonding opportunities in your relationship like it's a chore. And your horse knows. They always know. Here's the most common grooming mistake. It's subtle enough that most people never catch it, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. The mistake is grooming the horse for yourself, not for the horse. When most people groom, they're thinking about what needs to get done. They move through the body in whatever order feels efficient to them. They work at a pace that feels comfortable to them. They decide when to start, when to stop, where to go next. The horse is essentially a passive object, something being acted upon, not someone being engaged with. But here's what the horse actually experiences in that situation. An animal the size of a human walks up, immediately starts touching without asking, moves fast, skips the spots that feel good because it's faster, spends extra time on the spots that need cleaning rather than the spots the horse actually enjoys, and then leaves when the human decides they're done. From the horse's perspective, that's not grooming. That's being processed. And processed is not the same as cared for. The grooming that actually builds a bond, the kind that makes a horse associate your presence with something genuinely good, looks completely different. It's slower. It's responsive. It follows the horse's lead as much as it follows yours. And it starts before you ever pick up a brush. Before you touch a horse with any grooming tool, there's a step that almost everyone skips. And it's the most important one. You have to arrive. Not just physically. Actually arrive. Leave whatever was happening in your car, in your day, in your head, outside the gate. Because horses are emotional mirrors. They're reading your nervous system the moment you walk in. If you're distracted, they feel distracted. If you're rushed, they feel rushed. If you're carrying anxiety about something that has nothing to do with them, they can't separate that anxiety from the situation they're in right now. So before you pick up a brush, take 30 seconds. Stand with your horse. Breathe. Let your shoulders drop. Look at them softly. Not that intense forward stare that predator species use, but a relaxed, gentle gaze. Let them sniff you. Let them read you. And when you feel a shift, in yourself or in them, then you begin. This sounds almost too simple to matter, but try it for 2 weeks and watch what changes. Horses that seemed indifferent during grooming will start to lean into the brush. Horses that fidgeted or pulled away will start to stand quietly, not because you changed your technique, because you changed your intention. Here's something that genuinely surprised me, and I think it'll surprise you too. Horses have a specific area on their bodies where mutual grooming between horses almost always happens, the withers. That ridge at the base of the neck, where the neck meets the back. Watch 2 horses grooming each other, and they almost always start there, working along each other's necks and backs. The response is immediate. Lips go loose, eyes go soft. The head drops. Some horses will even start grooming back, reaching their nose toward you, making small nibbling motions in the air. That's their way of saying, yes, this is exactly what I needed. When you find that spot on your horse and you spend real time there, not rushing through it on your way to somewhere else, you are participating in something ancient and significant. You are speaking their language. You are saying, in a way that bypasses words entirely, I see you. I'm here with you. You matter. That's not grooming as hygiene. That's grooming as relationship. One of the most overlooked parts of any grooming session is what the horse is communicating the entire time, and whether or not anyone is actually listening. A horse that's enjoying the grooming will show you. The lower lip relaxes. Eyes go half closed. The neck stretches out to offer better access. Some horses shift their weight toward the brush, essentially asking for more. These are invitations. And when you respond to them, when you adjust, slow down, move to where they're asking, you're having a real conversation. You're telling them that their signals matter. But a horse that's only tolerating the grooming will also show you tension around the eyes, a tight jaw, ears flickering uncertainly, weight shifting away from the brush, a tail swishing at a frequency that has nothing to do with flies. These are whispers, small, quiet requests for something to be different. And if those whispers go unheard session after session, the horse eventually stops trying to communicate. It goes somewhere else in its mind and just waits for it to be over. That's not a partner, and no amount of expensive brushes will fix that if the listening isn't there. 5 grooming habits that push your horse away. Okay, I promised you this. Be honest with yourself as you hear each one, because most people recognize themselves in at least 3. Number 1, starting without checking in. You walk in, grab the brush, and begin. No pause, no greeting, no moment of acknowledgement. From the horse's perspective, you appeared and immediately started touching them. That's jarring every single time. Always take a moment, even 30 seconds, before you begin. Number 2, grooming at your pace, not theirs. You have a schedule. You move efficiently. You're done when you decide you're done. But the horse might be just starting to relax when you're already putting the brushes away. Rushing removes the entire value of the session, for both of you. Slow down. Let there be pauses. Stay longer where they lean in. Number 3, avoiding sensitive areas instead of addressing them. If a horse flinches when you touch a certain spot, the easiest thing is to brush around it. But avoidance doesn't solve anything. That flinch is information, soreness, sensitivity, a previous bad experience. Approaching those areas slowly and gently, building positive associations over time, is part of real care. Number 4, using grooming only as preparation for something else. When grooming always precedes riding, the horse starts to associate the brush with what comes after. And if the riding carries stress or tension, that colors the grooming session too. Sometimes grooming should just be grooming. No tack, no arena, no agenda. just time together. That one shift alone can change a horse's entire attitude toward being handled. Number 5. Not noticing when the horse is done before you are. Horses give clear signals when they've had enough. Shifting weight, turning their head, becoming less responsive. And often, people push past those signals because they're not finished yet. But when you consistently override a horse's enough, you erode the trust that grooming is supposed to build. End the session while they're still engaged. Leave them wanting more. They'll be happier to see you next time. When you get this right, when grooming becomes a real exchange instead of a routine, something shifts in the whole relationship. The horse starts to look for you, to perk up when they hear your voice, to stand quietly without being tied, to breathe slow and easy in your presence. And you start to feel it too. That particular kind of calm that comes from being with an animal that genuinely trusts you. That doesn't happen by accident. It's built one quiet, attentive session at a time. Grooming is not the side part of your relationship with your horse. It might actually be the center of it. It's where trust is built or slowly worn thin, depending on how present you are. Every session is an opportunity, and now that you know what to look for, you'll never see it the same way again. If this video made you look at something familiar in a completely new way, hit that like button right now. That one click puts this video in front of someone whose horse has been pulling away and they can't figure out why. You might be the reason they figure it out today. And if you're not subscribed yet, fix that right now. This channel goes deeper than technique. It's about the real relationship between horses and the people who care about them. If that matters to you, you already belong here. Now tell me in the comments, which of those 5 habits did you recognize in yourself? No judgment. We've all been there. And if you've had a moment during grooming where your horse surprised you, where something clicked, I want to hear it. Drop it below. I read every single one. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.